see Factor 4. Are we necessarily disappointed that this movie was bad?
No.
Nobody's disappointed. No, nobody's disappointed. But you know what is disappointing for those of us that didn't like it? Superman. There was disappointment for a lot of us that because we want to enjoy Superman, one of the 3 most recognizable superheroes in the world, behind Spider-Man and Batman.
Yep.
We wanted this, and this movie is controversial. I've said it over and over again.
Sure.
Half the people love it, the other half hate it.
Yep.
And when you have that literal breakdown, am I wrong when I say that? It's literally half and half.
It is half and half, which is unfortunate because, like when you have a character such as Superman that is now looked at as a middle ground, like there is no middle ground, whether you is a like or dislike, it's sad because it's an easy. Superman is the easiest joint you can do. Give us a happy Superman. Give us a nice little story. Focus on Superman and let us cheer for the dude. That's it. That's all we want out of Superman. And they couldn't give us that. So, yeah, I agree. It's either you hate it or you like it. Now, unfortunately, the people that I've come in contact with that like it are just stands, unfortunately. Like there are some that like that look at it objectively. Like people that look up just looking at the film as objectively as a film. I look at that more as somebody that's a critic. I don't really look at that as somebody that's like looking to like it or dislike it. They're just looking to relay information. Like myself or Jed. We're looking to relay information when we go and look at these type of films. But the people that actually like it is usually like, oh my God, did you see this one scene that was on the screen for 4 seconds? Like, it's just not it.
That has been the thing for the past several days because it released digitally on Friday, which essentially ends whatever real money is left to make in the theater. Because now piracy takes a hold, digital takes a hold, and everybody's getting whoever wants to get your hands on it. I don't think anybody's spending $20 though to own it digitally. You're insane.
No, that would be insanity.
I mean, if you do like it, you're waiting till you get your physical copy, is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But we have it right here to get to the point of the numbers before we get to where I really want to go with this. What you have here, 592. Let's look at our box office as the beginning of our discussion. What is a flop? Right here. It only made $5 million domestically this week in its 5th week. It's 35-day run. 35 days. When you look at this, Jed, here you love it. It dropped under $1 million 3 times this week.
That's not
it's
good.
an absolute failure at this point. And I actually saw someone trying to use these numbers to justify James Gunn's decision to put it on digital and leave it in theaters. They were saying, oh, it only had a 34% drop in the weekend. The digital didn't harm it at all. It's still killing it. And then I look at this and see $800,000 being made in the entire US of A on a Thursday night. That's embarrassing at this point. 35 days, they shouldn't be getting that low yet. Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing at this point.
That's my point, Jed, though. At 35 days, that's just a couple days over a month. And this is all you bring in. If this was a true success with people going back and rewatching it over and over again, you don't just bring in $340 million. Domestically, you're not just bringing in this little bit here. That means it's truly a success. People are going back to watch it, but nobody did for its current total of 592. Now, this next screen I'm bringing up is a little outdated because we have these numbers, but let me make my point with it. Somebody trying to tell us, Hollywood Handle, among many, trying to compare it to the release of Iron Man in 2008. Iron Man made $585 million in $0.8 million in that economy, where more people were going to the movies and tickets were cheaper. Mm-hmm. Superman in the current day made $586.7, where the less people going and tickets are more expensive. But then here's our favorite word, as Jed has expressed to me in conversation recently. People want to forget and ignore the word inflation because it's a pesky little word. Mm-hmm. That brings up a whole lot of problems when you're trying to push propaganda. I did the math. I asked Google to do the math for me because I'm incapable of it. I don't have calculator brain. I can't do this stuff. So when I asked Google to adjust Iron Man for inflation, What do you guys want to know what the number I got was when I asked it?
I'm thinking 850 maybe.
Oh, you're very close, Trey. $805 million.
Hey, not bad.
God, see, Trey's got a calculator brain. I
A
respect
little
it.
something, a little something.
I'm working that. So, compared in current day inflation, Iron Man 2008 made $805 million. That's not a flop. On its very low budget at the time, which they had barely any money to scrape together, they bet everything they had on this movie. Otherwise, the rights would have been lost and reverted to like a bunch of different people. They made, to use the term, bank. They made money. It justified its existence. It paid for Thor. It paid for Captain America, and it got Disney interested enough to buy them out after Avengers. Okay, that's what happened. Superman, even if you play by their retarded metrics, their fake metrics of 225 plus 100 for a break even of 625, 650, 650, yeah, 650. They still lose money right now because here we are. We're in my window still of 550 to 650 for Superman in the box office. Some people are going to say digital sales and this and that are going to pluff it up.
That
no,
doesn't exist. Yeah, that's not
its
real.
box office run will land now between 550 and 650, just like I said it would. Other people who said it's going to get over 700 million, 800 million, guess what? I'm going to say it again. I'm smarter than you. I understood this better than you. This is a flop. And that takes us to our conversation I want to have now about this. What is a flop? As I understand it, if something doesn't make money, are there varying levels of flop? Sure.
Mhm.
We've had those discussions. But if something doesn't make money, it falls to flop category. This movie, by their metrics, is going to lose at least $50 million. By the real metrics. Minimum. By the real metrics, 363 plus 150 to $200 million marketing times 2, it's really going to lose between $400 and $500 million.
Yeah.
Because
I'm leaning more towards those numbers as well.
Because when you don't hit break even, the money that is the difference between what you made and what you got there is that lost profit that you have no way to pay back the work you made. Is that correct?
That's how it works.
Yep,
Okay.
That's the easy definition.
Listen. Non-calculator brain just trying to make sure he understands this. All right? Just trying to make sure I understand this. I'm a writer. I'm not a mathematician. So that's a flop.
Yep.
But we've been told for 5 weeks now, this is a success.
So there's a couple of there's a level of ignorance that's involved in people saying these things, because some people when they hear flop, they hear bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hear bomb. Now there is a difference between bombing at the box office and flopping at the box office.
Mhm.
A bomb is let's just take a simple
Snow White.
the Marvels. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, Snow White. Snow White is a bomb. The Marvels is an absolute first ballot Hall of Fame bomb. There is absolutely nothing redeemable. There is no argument to be had. You lost hundreds of millions of dollars, undisputedly. A flop is usually a film that has, or usually starts with traction, not even that it makes any money, but has enough money to make it look as if it's competitive with its budget. That is a flop. You still don't break even. You still don't make money, but it doesn't look as bad. That is the difference between a flop and a bomb. So when people hear the word flop, they equate because they're thinking bomb. That's what they think. And not to mention, there's a propaganda machine talking about, like, oh, yeah,
we'll get to that in a second.
That's different. But as far as definitions are concerned, a lot of people equate bomb and flop in the exact same verbiage. That's why it has to be a clarification.
No, that's a great point, because the idea of these definitions being the same is incredibly prevalent. I can 100% attest to seeing people equate the two, and it's it's ignorance. It comes down to ignorance, like you said, whether or not that's just a normie who doesn't know any better, who can't fathom these types of budgets involved, these real types of numbers. That's one type of ignorance, and that's an understandable type of ignorance. But there's the cognitive dissonance. There's the intentional, willful ignorance. A lot of these stands who, like with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny when they came out, they willfully ignored all evidence that said, no, equating the budget of the movie, equaling that at the box office does not make it a success. No matter how many people told them otherwise, no matter if these people, they themselves had previously said, admitted to that knowledge ahead of time, it didn't matter. These people have chosen their reality and they will not accept any evidence to the contrary. And I think that's a damaging sort of ignorance. It's damaging to a society. It's damaging to their psyche. I feel bad for these people who cannot accept anything that isn't their version of reality. If the truth is so devastating to you about a comic book movie, then you have serious problems in your life that need to be addressed. But yeah, it's a battle of ignorance when it comes to everyone calling Superman a success. And there's different types of it. Just like you said, there's varying levels to flops. There's varying levels to bombs. There's varying levels to the ignorance. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't listening to the people trying to educate them, both the normies who just don't care and aren't listening to the intentionally ignorant people who are fighting against us. So all we can do is try to help educate these people, try to inform them about how all this stuff works. But at a certain point, when does it matter?
Now,
it doesn't seem to make any difference. We've been fighting this battle for 5 years, it feels like. Just every time there's a flop, we're fighting the battle of definitions. We're fighting to tell people, yeah, theaters take money. I know it's crazy, but theaters want a cut of the profits too. That's shocking, right? And people being like, no, I heard one time from my mama that popcorn makes theaters all the money. Yeah, that's true. Popcorn makes theaters a shit ton of money.
You actually got that argument once thrown against you, didn't you? I know you did.
I did. And it's like, I worked at a theater when I was 16. I'm 70 now. And back then, theaters don't take any money whatsoever. Maybe 1% of the profits. And I just fucking Googled it right then, got a ton of evidence and said, no, the average is 40 to 60%, which is why we average that out to 50. Theaters take profit. These people don't understand, the willfully ignorant ones, they don't understand how capitalism works. They're so obsessed with being anti-capitalist that they've never actually put in the effort to...
It's all gross with these people.
Gross versus net. They don't understand expenses. They don't understand costs. They don't understand that people have their fingers in this pie. That even with profit, let's say that profit gets divvied up to a lot of people. You have to pay your actors. You have to, the actors' back end's not their upfront cost. The percentage that they get, you got to pay back loans in a lot of cases. You got to pay producers. The studio takes their cut. So even just making money doesn't mean you make a whole lot of money, because that money, that profit quickly dissipates. So that's why it's so important, the way Dre says it, to justify your own existence, these films, because that money has intended places to go. And it's going to take a while of profit to just generate pure profit that has no intended destination.
The pushing of a narrative, the pushing of the propaganda. Dre brought that up. Jed, you said we're fighting against it. That's the thing. This is what we're fighting against right here. The propaganda, especially with Superman. Have we ever seen a movie in the recent years that had such a massive propaganda machine to try and tell us, don't believe your lying eyes? Don't believe what you're seeing.
I can't think of anything that comes close. The one I always bring up is Indiana Jones, but as soon as that argument was broken down of the mainstream Axis media and Stan's all saying, hey, it made $300 million, that's what the budget was, hey, it's a success, there was a successful pushback against that, and people started to admit, okay, yeah, it didn't make money. There hasn't been anything like this where it's doggedly determined opposition to reality. This has been going on for 35 days at this point, and I don't think we've seen anything that's gone this long before people start admitting that it's constant. We're starting to see some pushback against the movie itself, though. Now that it's on digital, it's that weird phenomenon. When a movie comes out, it's the greatest thing ever. When it comes out on digital, people realize, oh yeah, The Eternals was actually shit. We're starting to see that a little bit.
Well, but here's why. So the phenomenon has been going on where they're trying to tell you this scene was banger, this scene was hot, this scene had aura, it was kick, and all that kind of crap, all the lingo the kids use these days that makes my brain hurt.
Hey, it's Rizzy, mate.
Oh God. That just caused me to have a stroke for a second. Jesus Christ.
I'm the only Gen Z person here, and I fucked up how to use that Gen Z language correctly.
It
Yeah,
sounded.
I know
It
what that
sounded
means.
like you did it right. It sounded terrible.
It sounded right
wasn't
to
right.
me.
Point is-
I know it had, Adam, it had to be right because my brain did not translate it at all. So it must have been done right.
Yeah. So there's been this constant thing of this is how this looks great, all that kind of crap, by showing clips. And ever since Friday, there's been, and I haven't saved any because they're all over the place. You can't scroll down your time without seeing them. Here's this scene from the movie. Here's that scene from the movie. Now it's in the HD version, not just our commercial clip. It's constant, and it's these same accounts. And like Jed said, there are these accounts now that seem to exist constantly. There's this one account that claims to cover global box office, but it seems all they do is push Superman, saying it's going to cross this. We'll let you know when it crosses this threshold. Oh, it's still flying with great legs because it made $1 million on this day. Yeah, you know what it was talking about? It was talking about the $1 million right here on August 11th. Yeah, guess what? It wasn't $1 million. It dropped under when it got adjusted.
They're still saying it's going to end its run between 650 and 700.
That's
which
impossible.
Is just laughable at this point. And
look at this. There's nobody left to watch this.
This is what I mean. Intentional ignorance. They have formed their reality in their minds. They formed that reality the moment they watch the movie, and the real, true reality must conform to that, or it must be rejected. This is mental illness. This isn't just, oh, I like the movie a lot, and I'm a little annoying about how much I like it. This is legitimate, and I believe diagnosable mental disorders here. And the Iron Man, you keep bringing it up. It's so disingenuous to compare those two because Iron Man actually made profit, but more importantly, the deck was stacked against Iron Man. Nobody fucking knew who Iron Man was. He wasn't an A-list name like Superman.
Facts.
What was Iron Man? Where was Iron Man? C or D at that point? C or D?
Depends on who you ask. In my personal opinion, D-lister. In my personal opinion,
famous.
D-lister.
Everybody knows Iron Man, but not. Yeah. You're not knocking down doors. Now you knock down doors for Iron Man stuff.
Absolutely.
Now.
Well, and superhero content wasn't the juggernaut back then that it is today. Yes, we had some great superhero movies like the first Spider-Man movies, the first X-Men movies, and the same year this came out, The Dark Knight, which is a little after this. But we also had stuff like X-Men The Last Stand, I believe, came out before this, and we soon got X-Men Origins Wolverine. And Spider-Man 3 is about the same time as well. There were flops. There were things that people were fighting against. And Blade 3 at that point. There was a willingness to call out bad films at this era, and superhero content was a mixed bag. It wasn't a guaranteed success at this point. So Iron Man was a major risk, and it paid off. It had a budget of $140 million. It made like $200 million worth of profit, if not more. Why are we comparing these things? It's so disingenuous. They're just doggedly trying to force, like I keep saying, their version of reality to fit the facts. They're changing the facts to support their version of events, and it's sickening and it's depressing, honestly, that so many people have been brought into this shared delusion. This is schizophrenia on a mass scale.
Yep. I mean, you say that. Let me just bring this up because I want to make sure I get the right one. It's in my replies right here. This person, this scene, and when the score kicks in, to me, that's cinema. Talking about the frenetic mess that was the black hole in the alternate dimension.
There's too much going on
and
here.
The alien baby.
And here's
Metamorpho's powers in this movie are just ridiculous. He makes the sun in the palm of his hand. It's done for. He's more powerful than Superman. There's no Justice Gang that's needed anymore. They set him up to be god level powers.
But here I focused on this one and all the things I saw, and my response was there. No, it's slop. You like slop, that's fine. You can like slop all you want, but just admit it's slop. This scene is actually the best representation of the insanity that was this movie. A frenetic, chaotic mess. There's, like Jed just said, too much going on. Too many people here. Unbelievable, even for a superhero movie. And at the same time, what score?
I don't know what he's talking
Nobody
about.
knows what this score is. They claim it's great and epic. There is no score to this movie. It's completely forgettable.
Can you describe the plot that led up to this moment and just the plot of this moment without sounding like a psychopath?
No. When I was sitting in the theater and and then they had the black hole river that's sitting down there on the ground. I'm sitting there like, did I walk into the right theater? Like, I'm like, when did the Saint come on? Like, what the heck am I watching? And then when he got to the black hole, that apparently is always sitting there. So hold on, Moses. So that joint should be sucking in everything.
Where's the event
all time.
horizon? Where's the time dilation? Where is all of it?
No idea what's going on in this scene. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how the freeze breath pushes. I have no clue. You're blowing into a black hole. That's a
it's
vacuum.
Not going to do anything.
It's not going to do anything.
And it's probably going to suck you in.
Yes.
It's probably going to have the reverse effect.
I was so confused.
The anti-proton 8-bit river that they kept setting up was like, it'll disintegrate a person in 2 seconds. We see like 20 people fly into it, and it's a blocky river. It has no impact on anything.
This scene, this type of reaction in the past 72 hours now has been replicated all over social media, where they're just replaying all these scenes. And it's this, as we said, this continuous 35-day propaganda to tell us it's not a flop. And it all started with the liar in chief himself, James Gunn.
That dude's a hack.
James Gunn, who has done nothing but
pissed
lie.
at him for his Twitter account, if nothing else.
He just lies. And he goes out in the interview the other day and basically says, and I mentioned that I talked about this earlier this week, oh, we're putting it on digital release early so that you can get ready for Peacemaker Season 2, which is the greatest thing I've ever made, by the way. That's James Gunn's words. Peacemaker 2.
Way to sell Superman.
Is the greatest thing ever. And you need to watch Superman to go into Peacemaker 2. And oh, guess what? I'm skipping ahead of all the other stuff I said. I'm now working on the next Superman movie.
That dude. What did Jed say? Schizo? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to agree. And I have a lot of issues with the scenes that people are sharing of these films. Yeah, of course, that let's just take that space, whatever, black hole, whatever that made my head hurt.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to slice out scenes that were impactful that everybody and their mama can remember and stand out. Like let's just take, for instance, let's just take one of my favorite movies of all time, The Dark Knight. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not even because I'm a fan of Superman. I'm a fan of Batman. It's because the film is just that good. Now, there's a scene that everybody can remember, and that is when when Batman used the Bat Cycle and then flips the truck. Yeah, everybody and their mother knows that scene. And there was actually a score. You know what that score was? Silence. Absolute silence on that scene. Everybody knows it. Everyone remembers it because it was legitimately impactful because of what was happening in the story. If that truck flip happened in the story and the whole time there was a meteorite flying over and then somebody's mama was giving birth at the same time and some lady was cutting off chicken heads and trying to make dinner, is so much crap going on that the flipping of the truck doesn't even matter.
Your eye doesn't know where to look when it's crazy. And if a well-directed, a well-written, directed scene, a talented director will want your eye to be drawn to something. In that scene alone that we just saw, that chaotic thing, which represents the movie whole, you got to look at Superman. You got to look at the dumb dog. You got to look at Metamorpho. You got to look at the black hole. You got to look at this. You don't know where to look.
The demon baby.
Going like this. Where are you looking? No, and I am no director. I'm never going to be a director. That is not a talent I have. But even I understand, watching enough movies in my time, a scene, the imagery should draw your attention to a single point where you can encapsulate what's going on. Whether it's action, keep you focused on an action scene. There's too much going on. James Gunn is not as good as people want to pretend he is. In this movie, as we have kind of been discussing here, this propaganda to tell you it's not a flop, it's been so over the top, so insane that a lot of messages have been lost here. There's no room to have real discussion because when you try to have discussion with people who really love this movie, they just start yelling and crying at you. Just want to scream at you. Oh, you're being too hard on it. Oh, it was still fun. Why don't you want to have fun? No, I want to have fun, but I want to respect what I'm watching, or at least acknowledge it's dumb fun, and then be like, okay, it's dumb fun. I'm just going to look at it this way. To me, this movie wasn't even dumb fun because it's taking itself so seriously. There's another clip going around out there during the "I'm just like everybody else" speech, and he's walking, and every time he moves, the sun lens flares from his head. That's terrible. But the defenders are saying, don't you understand? It's showing that he's getting his strength from the sun and he's healing, even though he's not even healing on screen.
No, it's a Jesus halo is what he was going for as well. It's so superficial.
It's broken. This propaganda to tell us it's not a flop is the likes of which I've never seen. Just like when Dre said years ago he had never seen anything the like of the Barbie marketing propaganda went on with that. This now that I've never seen anything like this. The way people are so desperate to tell us this movie is a success.
We also have to deal with this is a TikTok movie generation film for this generation because the attention span of the average child these days, or the average young adult, is so short that I think that's why these films are so chocked with a million things to look at to hope that you don't lose focus. But unfortunately for the movie studios, the young people who are the TikTok generation aren't a big group of people. They can't move the needle at the box office, and that's what we're seeing here. And it's the same people, the same mindset. The TikTok is the world. These people think that TikTok actually moves the world, that it changes reality, and it doesn't. TikTok is not a relevant platform in the grand scheme of things, and it's just sheer delusion.
To bring this back up again, just to show it right here, the numbers again. We saw what a movie looks like in the recent years when people go back and see it over and over again, when it has real fan base. Top Gun Maverick, $700 million domestic, because people went back and saw that movie over and over again. Same with Avengers, Spider-Man. Same with the successful ones. Spider-Man No Way Home, Infinity War, Endgame. Those made a lot of money. People went back over and over again. Absolutely. People claimed they were going to see this movie over and over and over again in these intervening weeks. These numbers right here tell a different story.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this is also the story of why it's on digital after only 35 days.
That's still a crazy thing.
Because crazy. I mean, Drake, there's nobody spending money on this movie in the theater anymore.
But here's the problem. Okay, like I said, Adam, you and I are from a different time. We understand what VHS and DVD used to do, and how that would save films that would more or less flop in the theaters, but have a new life on home video.
3 months later.
Yes, 3 months later, get a new life on home video and make unteen millions, and that's how these other films raise the roof.
How many times did you walk into a Blockbuster to get that new release movie in for rent, and the wall is empty? It's just the box with nothing behind it. You're like, and you stand there for maybe 20 minutes hoping somebody's going to return it so you can get your copy and go home and watch it that night with somebody.
Exactly. And let's just remove that part of the industry, because since that part of the industry doesn't even exist anymore. Why would I put it on digital? I'm not gonna make one red cent.
Yo-ho.
Oh, Captain Jack fitting to collect without question. But as a studio head, whatever, I'm not putting this joint on streaming nothing. If I'm going to take this joint out of the theaters, this joint's going straight to Blu-ray, DVD, something in which I can recoup some cash.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.